Hi, everybody. Okay, I think we are live. Hi, everyone. Welcome to my Stamp and Flip workshop. I am Michelle Solis with This Must Be Ink. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Seekonk, Massachusetts. So the third Wednesday of every month, we do our Stamp and Flip One Sheet Wonder workshop. The files can be found on my Crafty Kraken Create page on Facebook. Up at the top of the page, you'll see files, and you can go in there and find all the episodes 1 through 10 at this point, the templates for all of them, and the pictures of the cards for all of them. So we are on episode 10, and we're doing this template tonight. If you haven't printed it, you can download it or print it from Facebook, so you've got it. Okay, so we're using some 4x4 pieces tonight, and we're going to make 4 cards with each side of our paper. So we're going to make 8 cards total from one 12x12 piece of paper. So tonight I'll be creating one set of cards, showing you the different cards that we're making. And then when I get finished, I will just do the other set and we'll put those up on Facebook as well. All right, so let's get started. Let's bring this camera back down here and see if we can get going. Okay, there we go. All right, so these are the cards that I showed. Crooked here. There we go. All right, these are the cards that I showed on the Facebook page. So this first one uses the 4x4 piece of paper, and then this is a 1-inch piece. We're going to talk about that. But this is to create this book fold card. So that is what I did with the first pieces. So we created this book fold. And then the next card, I did kind of a faux book fold. It looks the same, but it doesn't open the same way. It opens like this, a full card like that. It's the second one with the 4x4 and another 1-inch piece. Then I created this one. And this is taking a 4x4 piece and we're cutting it in half. And we're going to put that onto a mat that's going to go on the front of your card. And that's a regular card base as well. And then this one that I'm calling a mini Z-fold card, this card ended up being 4 1/4 by 4 1/8. And it has this little Z fold here. And that's using 2 of your 2-inch by 4-inch pieces there. Okay, isn't this cute paper? This is Day at the Farm paper. I had exactly 3 pieces left over, so I am using them up and I will be completely done with that pack of paper. That hasn't happened in a long time. Do you have a lot of extra paper? That's why I created this Stamp and Flip One Sheet Wonder so that we could get rid of some of our retired paper. All right, so those are the cards that we're going to make tonight. And then I'm going to show you some other alternatives for these pieces as well. Okay. All right, let's get these out of the way. All right, so this is your cutting template. So we're going to need our trimmer and a piece of paper. I'm using another piece from this, this pack of paper. Too much stuff on my desk here. Okay. So I'm going to use this one, which has got the cows and the trees. And I'm upside down. Okay. I might have to go up a little bit. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut the paper right in half, first of all. So you've got a 12x12 piece of paper. You're going to cut it right in half at 6 inches. And we're going to do that so the pattern is portrait. Okay. So cut that right in half. This piece now you're going to put aside. you're going to use that for the second set of cards. And you're going to flip it over, so you'll have this pattern as the front of those cards. So we're going to set that aside. Okay, so this is the piece that we're going to use with our template. So the first cut that we're going to do is here at 4 inches. We're going to go across. So we're going to turn our paper and put the small edge up this way. And we're going to go to 4 inches and just cut straight across. Okay. And then the next cut is going to be again at 4 inches. Okay, so you'll have 3 panels here now. So this first panel, we're going to take this and we're going to cut this here at 2 inches, or we're going to leave a 2-inch. We're going to cut it at 4 and leave a 2-inch piece. So we'll cut this at 4. So you're going to get a 4 by 4 square. And then you'll have this 2-inch piece. Okay, and we're going to talk about that one again in a second. Then the second one, you're going to do the same thing. Going to cut it at 4 inches and be left with a 2-inch piece. And then the third one, the same. And we'll set that aside, but we're going to talk about this cut again in a second. All right, so coming back to here, for this card and this card, we want to use a 1-inch piece here on the end. So what we're going to do is take one of our 2-inch pieces and we're going to cut that in half. So what you would want to do on your template is maybe with a pen or pencil, just put a dashed line down the front. I'm going to have to go back to my template and fix this for you, adjust it. Once I did the template and then started making the cards, I realized I wanted 2 pieces of 1 inch instead of a 2-inch piece. So I'll have to edit that PDF. Okay, so we're going to cut this in half. So we'll have 2 pieces that are 4 inches by 1 inch. Okay, let's set those aside. And then on this last one, if you want to do, and you don't have to, this is optional, if you want to do this cut where you get 2 triangles, then you would cut this 4 by 4 square in half. So we're going to do that so that I can show you that technique. And the way that you're going to get that cut is you're going to put the top right corner and the bottom left corner into the trimmer channel at the same time. Hi, Julie. Thanks for tuning in. Okay, so we're going to put your point there and your point here. So the top right point and the bottom left point in the channel at the same time. Bring your cutting blade in and cut that in half. So you'll have 2 triangles now. Okay. Okay. But I am going to show you another card that doesn't cut this. So you can decide when you're creating your cards how you want them to be. Okay, so we're going to set that aside, set our trimmer aside, and then we're going to work on our cards. Okay, so you're going to need some card bases. For the book fold card, you're going to need a card base that is 4 1/4 by 11. Okay, put my trimmer away too soon. So you're going to score this card base at 5 1/2 and 4 1/4. So we're going to put this into the trimmer with your long end at the top. Let's go to 4 1/4 and score, get our cutting blade out of the way, 4 1/4, and then you're going to move it up to 5 1/2. And that is going to be the measurements for our book fold card. So what we will then do is we're going to fold this in half and use our bone folder to burnish that fold. And then at this next score line, the 4 1/4 score line, we're going to fold that back. Okay, so that's going to create our book fold. So what we will do is we're going to put some glue in here to hold this down so it will open like this, like a book with a spine. So we'll get some glue. You can use tear and tape, whatever your favorite adhesive is. I'm just going to use some liquid glue. And then we're going to fold that over. You're only putting glue in your little panel here. Hi, Kathy. Yes, happy Wednesday. Okay, so we're going to just put that in our little panel to create that spine, and so it will just open up here for the book fold. And that is going to use one of your 4x4 pieces of paper and then one of your 1-inch pieces of paper. Now you can leave this the same pattern if you want to, or you can flip it over like I did on my other cards. And that's what I think I'm going to do again on here, just to give it a little bit more interest. So we're just going to glue those on. With the little cows, I should send all these cards to my sister. She loves cows. Well, I don't know if she loves cows in real life, like live cows, but she likes collecting cute little cows. And she has a lot of cows. Okay. Actually, that's a good idea. I should just give her these cards for Christmas. Not a bad idea. All right, so this is going to be our book fold. You've got your 4x4 piece here, a 1-inch by 4-inch piece here, and that's your book fold. You're going to need an insert, and that again is going to be 4x4. And just kind of center that. Okay, so you could see on this one that I did previously, I did a little sentiment here because this paper is very busy. So I just did a simple sentiment and then I did some ribbon here. So I brought actually some new ribbon. This is from the Hobby Haven suite, I believe. So this is a new pack of ribbon. And I just realized it was garden green. And I was like, oh, it's going to be perfect. Okay. So this is probably the trickiest part of this card, is getting this ribbon on. But what you're going to want to do is figure out how long you want your ribbon. So you want it to be long enough that you're going to be able to create a nice bow. So let me cut this and then I'll tell you about how long I'm making it. So this is 13. This is about 16 inches of ribbon that I've cut here. Okay, and then you just want a little glue dot. So this is my trick for getting ribbon around a card, and that is a glue dot. So if I can find my Take Your Pick tool. There we go. I use my pointy end to pick up one of these glue dots. And then I'm going to place it down kind of in the middle of that panel. And I'm going to put my ribbon around, bring it up so it's even, cross it over, and I'm going to get the where they meet right on top of that glue dot, and press that down, and now that's going to hold it for you. It's like somebody putting their finger there for you. Hi, Sadira. Okay, and then you're just going to tie your little bow. So yeah, I think about 16 inches is about right, unless you want a little bit larger bow. There you go. And then you're just going to need a sentiment. So on this one, I just used the 3 banner punch to create a sentiment here. We're going to go with "It's Your Birthday," but I lost the ink. Here it is. Okay, and we're doing garden green. I think this is going to fit in that punch. So we're going to stamp, and then we'll grab the punch. This is a new punch. It's called the 3 banner punch. So it's got 3 different banners that you can punch out. I'm going to use this middle one. There we go. For this card. And we'll just put some dimensionals on there. Oh, I covered them up with paper. There we go. This is how you lose things on the desk. You put other things on top of them. Oops. Okay, so that is the first card, and that is your little book fold card. Okay, and of course you can add some bling to this, or even put some ribbon underneath your sentiment. But that's the first one. Okay, I guess we can come down a little bit now, huh? There we go. So that's the first one, and that's the book fold. Okay, so the second one I'm calling a faux book fold because it looks like a book fold, but it's not going to open that way. It's going to open like a regular card. Okay, so we're going to use the same card base. That's 4 1/4 by 11. This one, however, we're just going to score at 5 1/2. Okay, and then just fold that in half. That's going to be your card base. And then with this one, we will need a mat. So our mat is, I'm using a lighter green. This is also a retired green. Pear Pizzazz, I think this is. And then your mat is going to be 5 3/8 by 4 1/8. Or that's what I made mine. You could possibly go with 1/4 inches if you'd like. So again, I'm going to add my 4 by 4 piece here. And then I'm going to take my other 1-inch piece that I trimmed, I think it goes this way, and put that on this end. Okay, super simple. This back side of the paper is like rolling hills. Okay. I'm just going to line this up with this piece from edge to edge here. And then that's going to get attached to my card base. Okay. There we go. So that is our faux book fold. Looks like a book fold, but it's not. It opens like a regular card. So inside, you'll need a sentiment piece on this one that is 4 1/4 by 5, right? Is that what I've got? No, 4 by 5 1/4. 4 by 5 1/4. Sorry. The measurements on the directions should be correct. Okay. There we go. So that's the inside. And then again, we just need a sentiment. So on this one, I did a circle. I just used my circle punch. So we're going to do the same. This is the 2 3/8 inch circle punch that is still available at Stampin' Up. So we can punch our circle, and then we will do our little sentiment. On this one, I think we'll just do Thinking of You, again in the garden green. There we go. Then we have to decide if we want to put a little animal on here. I did fussy cut some animals. I've got some little pigs. These came out of another sheet of the designer series paper. Got some pigs, some sheep. I've got a half of a cow. Oh, that actually looks kind of cute. Let's make a half of a cow. I didn't want to throw them away, so I cut them out. And I'm like, I can use them someplace. Let's stick them right on here. So what I will do is stick him on so he's kind of overlapping. And then I will trim it off. Just trim off the little edges here. So it looks like I meant to do that. There we go. So yeah, lesson here is don't throw away the images on the edges of your card if you're fussy cutting, because you can put them on the edge of a sentiment. You can put it at the edge of the card, right? You can still use those. All right, so let's do this with some dimensionals as well. There we go. 2 down. Okay. All right, so the next one is the one that we cut our 4-inch square in half. And we're going to mount that onto a mat. And in this case, I'm using white so that I can stamp my sentiment. So first I want to see where my paper is going to be. So I'm going to kind of set this here so I can see where I want to stamp my sentiment. My sentiment wants to go right in the middle here. So I'm going to use, I'm going to do It's Your Birthday again. Oh, wait, no. What did I bring over here? I brought a piggy saying, this little piggy says happy birthday. Okay, well, let's put the piggy on there. Let's do that. So this stamp set that I've got these sentiments from is this birthday piggy, which is also retired. But I love pigs. My sister loves cows. I love pigs. So I had this piggy stamp set, and I thought, well, it would work with some farm paper, right? So we'll do this little piggy. Says happy birthday. The good news is if you mess this up, Don't do it when you glued the paper down, because if you mess this up, you can flip it over and do it again. All right, so there's our sentiment. Now we can adhere our paper. And I try to get my glue all the way down the point so that it doesn't, flip up after some wear and tear. And then you just want to line this up to either edge of your card. This again is what I love about liquid glue. You can kind of move it around a little bit if you have to. And then this one, I'm going to flip this over so I can see it a little better. Just want to get that to the edge and the top. Okay, so there's this one. And that is going on a regular card base that is 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4.25. Why my brain doesn't want to think about card base measurements tonight, I don't know. Okay, so 8.5 by 5.5 scored at 4.25. And then we'll get that mounted there. And get our little piggy on there. I'll have to throw in a pig for my sister, just because. All right, how about that? Just do some dimensionals on there. There we go with that one. Okay, and then this last one, I wanted to show you how to make this mini Z-fold card. So this card, hi Courtney, hi Lorraine, thanks for joining. This card ends up measuring 4 1/8 by 4.25. And so I love this as a little gift enclosure. You could put this on the outside or stick this on the inside of a gift bag. It does fit in a regular envelope and can be sent in a regular envelope. So the final size is 4 1/8 by 4.25. You're going to use a card base that is 8.5, just double checking, yep, 8.5 by 4 1/8 is what we're starting with. Okay. Now on the directions, if you printed these out, you're going to see that this card is backwards on the PDF. And I don't know how that image got flipped. It looks like this, but the goose is on this side. Somehow it got flipped. So anyways, yes, I'm going to have to fix that PDF. So go back in tomorrow if you've already printed this and reprint this PDF of the cards, because that should be corrected. Okay. All right. So this is what it's going to look like. We are going to score this piece at 2 1/8. And then 4.25. And that is going to make our Z-fold. Okay, so we're going to, oh, wrong. Yes, there we go. Fold mountain in the middle. So fold it in half, mountain in the middle, and then you'll fold it back on that first crease. So it will look like this, and it'll be a Z. Okay. All right. And then you're going to put your last two pieces on here. These are 2 inches by 4 inches. They should fit on your little panels here. And then you'll get a panel for here. So if you're using a white card base, which I did here, I put a balmy blue cardstock piece inside and then put my white on. Okay, but this one I'm using a colorful card base, so I'm just going to add my white piece there. Okay, so these are your 2 by 4 pieces. I gotta turn it. I cannot get it straight if I'm going up and down. It's much easier for me, for some reason, to do it horizontally than it is vertically. There we go. And then our little sentiment piece. You could add a bigger piece if you'd like. I like it to be covered up, but you don't have to. And then I'm going to just place that here, and that should be covered by my panels when they close. Okay, so that's your little mini Z fold. This one I did the modern day oval punch. So let's grab that. Let me get a piece of paper here. This is the modern oval punch. Okay. And then what else have I got? I have a hay there, but that seems very small. But I could put an animal on here as well. I think a cow seems right, right? Oh, he's not going to fit. We might have to cut his tail off. So maybe a little cow. We need a bigger sentiment. We will use, nope, can't use the piggy. So we're going to use happy birthday. It's your birthday. For this last one, you can always use birthday cards. Okay. And then, of course, the trick here is to just put adhesive on the left-hand side of your sentiment. So I usually just hold it, so I know my adhesive goes here. And then just put it back down. Oh, let me make sure. Yep, the cow's going to fit there. And then I'm going to just glue on my little cow, and I might have to cut his tail off because I do want his face to show. You can really just go about that far. Well, it's a tiny card, so he will fit in the envelope. So I think maybe I'll just leave him like that, right? His tail might get bent, but I think it'll be okay. All right, so there's the last card. All right, let me move my little animals. So here are the cards we did tonight. Here's your book fold and your faux book fold. The one where we cut the paper in half, made 2 triangles, and then the mini Z fold. Okay, so those are the ones from tonight. And then these are the ones that I showed as a sample. Let me grab my last set that I did. 1 second. Okay. Let me show you these. These were from the other side of the blue paper with the chickens and the geese. So the other side was this like chain link fence. So this is the book fold, Thinking of You, with some little animals. I did put my insert in there with a yellow ribbon. This is the faux book fold with the mat, and that opens like a regular card. And then this one, instead of cutting this panel in half, I left it whole on the front of my card. And then I just matted this on a 4 by 5 1/4 white mat, and I stamped the sentiment at the bottom and left that piece whole. So that's an option as well. You don't have to cut it in half there. That's just a regular card base. And then the last one, this one, instead of doing the Z fold with my two 2-inch pieces, this one I just did another mat, 4 by 5 1/4, and I put both of my pieces one on top of the other here to make that card front. And then just added my sentiment here. Okay. All right, so there's some different layouts that you can do with that very simple one sheet wonder, but sometimes that's how I like it because I wanted just a specific piece of paper. So I start with that measurement in mind and go from there. All right, let's see if I can turn this back around. There we go. Oh, look at that. All right, so that's it for me tonight. Oh my gosh, there's too many lights. Too many lights in here. Okay, that's it for me tonight. Hope you guys enjoyed. I will right now go and fix the tutorial. Well, not the tutorial, but the card PDF that's got the measurements for each of the cards. I will fix that and replace that on my Facebook page because I realized that that picture is backwards and I didn't put in that you cut the one piece in half for the, yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Okay, so that's it for me tonight. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate it. Hopefully you will try this one sheet wonder and make some cute cards. If you do all 4 the same, you can make a little gift for somebody. All right. Thanks so much, you guys. Stay crafty, and I'll see you next month.